प्रभु तव मूर्ति विनोदकारी पलपन विसरे नहीं जो विसारी जुगल चरण सोल चिन्ह जेह नजर समीपे रहो अमारी एह नजर समीपे रहो अमारी एह। ठाकुर जी महाराज नी जय, घनश्याम महाराज नी जय, हरिकृष्ण महाराज नी जय, स्वामीनारायण भगवान नी जय, सद्गुरुदेव नी जय। Supreme Almighty, the one that has been served by our Sadguru Shri Muktanand Swami, Wala Shri Thakurji Maharaj, our divine Muktanandiya Parampara, the one that has been looking out for our liberation, our Puja Guruji, and all of you, Santo and Bhakto, Jai Swaminarayan. Today is one of the most important tools a devotee needs in his life. A devotee has many tools in his life. May it be coming to Mandir, may it be doing seva, may it be doing bhakti, may it be listening to katha. There's many things that a devotee can do. But out of that, there's one thing that a devotee must have, and it is the most important part of a devotee's life. And that one thing that we want to talk about today is Prarthna, or as we call it in the language of Gujarati, prayer. You know, when everything fails, prayer always comes out. When there is no hope, prayer is the only weapon or only technique that Bhagwan looks at. So even if we do 1000 maras, or even if we do 500 danvats, or even if we do a lot of things, maybe Bhagwan will accept it, he might not accept it because of our purity. But definitely, even if the most evil person prays, Bhagwan always listens to that. That's why prayer is a very important weapon for a devotee of Bhagwan. So we want to cover what is prayer, how prayer is done, some modern examples about prayer, and how it should be done. So without further ado, let's take a look. Okay. As you can see on the screen, there's some images. Out of these images, we want to focus on the middle image. There is a person holding on to a tree branch on the side of a cliff, which is very high up. Now, a person is holding onto a branch in the middle of a valley, trying not to fall. He trusts that the branch will save him. Now, this is an example. This will never happen to us. But thinking about it, he has nothing to hold on to but a branch. Now, suppose this man weighs approximately 150 pounds. Weighing in at 150 pounds, the branch can only hold his weight for a little while, not too much. But he trusts that this is the branch that will save his life. He knows that there is a very deep cliff and he will die if he falls. But he has trust. Hold on to that thought. Moving on. Now, the Apollo 13 disaster. Apollo 13 was a mission. Here, as you can see, this is mission control. Now, what happened is in the 1970s, in 1970 exactly, in the month of April, the United States NASA sent 4 members from the Apollo mission to space to visit the moon, to land on the moon. And on their way there, approximately the second day in, one of the oxygen tanks inside of the space shuttle bursted, resulting in, if that machine cannot make oxygen, then those people cannot survive inside the capsule. So what happened was they dialed into Houston. This is mission control right here. And they dialed in and said, Houston, we have a problem. It's a very famous saying in United States history. Now, what happened was, without oxygen, they could not survive to come back to Earth alive. So they had to do some mechanical engineering and try to make some kind of oxygen filter so that the inside, when a human breathes, he breathes in oxygen and exhales carbon dioxide. So if the vessel becomes full of carbon dioxide, then all these people will die inside. So when they informed the humans on Earth down there, the whole world found out. Each and every religion found out. They found out that this is the exact capsule right here, Apollo 13, okay? They found out that these people are going to die if they're not saved from this mechanical engineering machine they tried to make. So each and every religion, may it be Christianity, may it be Hinduism, may it be Buddhism, may it be all and every religion, prayed for all these 4 people inside of that space shuttle in the 1970s, when the President Johnson, made a speech that we have sent 4 men up in space and oxygen tank has blown up inside. So they're unable to produce oxygen. So they're exhaling carbon dioxide, and the whole capsule, when it becomes filled with carbon dioxide, they will die because of no oxygen. So they prayed. Everyone prayed because the president called out that we need all of your prayers. The whole world prayed in the 1970s at that time at once that God saved them, God saved them. And somehow, some way, bhagwan listened to their prayers, and inside they developed a machine, temporary machine, that converted the carbon dioxide into oxygen. So they only needed 2 days to come back down, and they survived without any problems. But that was all not due to making that machine, but it was all due to the prayer that was behind it. So today's whole subject is on Prarthna, or prayer. And even in the dollar bill, it says, in God we trust. Everyone knows about this. This trust is a type of prayer. Each and every human needs Prarthna, or needs prayer. It's the most important thing for a devotee, because without prayer, how will you talk to God? Without prayer, how will you destroy your vices, your sins? Without prayer, who will you take refuge underneath? So that's why prayer is the most important weapon of a devotee. And as you can see here, this is our Vinu Bhagat, our Puja Guruji. Approximately, right now he's 65, so this was approximately 62 years ago. If he's 65, this was approximately 50 years ago. 50 years back, this is the Mandir in Surat, Rampura, and this is Ghanshyamprakashdasji. go and ask Ghanshyam Maharaj, and if he says yes, then I will. So he went and he started asking. But how did he start asking? He started praying by doing a tapni mara every day for 1 year. Guruji did 108 tapni mara like this, which is very hard. Even in puja, if we try to do more than 2, imbalance, yeah, a lot of problems happen. We get tired, our arms start to feel heavy. Puja Guruji at that time did 108 at one time for 1 year, also did 108 danvats. And after that, Ghanshyam Maharaj came out of the murti, tapped Puja Guruji on the cheek and said, go and you can become my sant. That was all due to Puja Guruji's prayer. Bhagwan was not looking at the mara. Bhagwan was not looking at if it's 108 or if it's 51. Quantity is not the importance here, but the quality is very important. The quality of prayer that Puja Guruji was doing to Ghanshyam Maharaj was the only reason why Ghanshyam Maharaj came out and gave darshan to Puja Guruji. And as you can see, every day we do morning puja. Every satsangi does morning puja. This is a standard. Without puja, no satsangi would go without doing puja. The word puja comes from Sanskrit and it means reverence, honor, homage, and worship, but it is a form of prayer. We are praying to Bhagwan that I belong to you, you belong to me, please save me from any of this maya. This is the kind of prayer that should be done in puja. Now here we go. Prayer is the food of the soul. Just like how we need pizza, just like how we need to eat Mexican food, just like how we need pani puri, just like how we need pav bhaji and dabeli, correct? We also need Prarthna. Worshipping Bhagwan Prarthna is important, and it's like the food for the soul. Body mate, you give this food, you give this body all the food, but what kind of food will you give the Atma, the soul, in the form of a prayer? Bhagwan wants only your prayers. Bhagwan does not want your luxuries. Yes, over here, Pira Ghanshyam Maharaj, Thakurji Maharaj. Thakurji Maharaj is wearing very, very expensive diamond vaga. It's most expensive ever. But more than that, Bhagwan wants the pure bhav, that pure prayer that will apply those vaga to him. So Bhagwan is like this. Yes, you've made me $200,000 worth of clothes. Very good. I will look good. This is Bhagwan. But more than that, how have you made it? Have you held some kind of expectation behind making it that someone will notice? Suppose this person sponsored the vaga, someone will notice I did this vaga. Have you done it so I become pleased? Have you done it so all my prayer, or you prayed that you take him to Akshardham? What kind of way have you made these vagas? In whatever way, that's how Bhagwan becomes happy. That's why intention, or we can say in Gujarati, ashay, is very important. And Prarthna should be very, very selfless. Bhagwan, I will do 50 maras a day if you get me a new iPad. Example. Bhagwan, I will pagelak my parents and do Gar Sabha if you get me a phone. Please. No making deals with Bhagwan. Making deals with Bhagwan means you are doing it for a selfish motive. But just doing it to please Bhagwan, that means you're doing it for a selfish motive. Devotees' main quality is niskam, or selflessness. And prayer is the way to do it. Since eating more, the body gets ruined, but the mind doesn't get spoiled by more prayer. The more prayer you do, the more your mind and soul become healthier. The more you eat, the more you become fatter. That's it. Nothing else. And you get a lot of diseases like diabetes. I mean, it's heredity, I understand. But then, potana hathi jo ubu karelo e bhai પછી હું કરવાનું. But maybe diabetes, maybe cholesterol, maybe BP, then you have to eat rotla. That's bad. Not good. Yeah. So if you don't want to get into those situational circumstances, then it's good to eat limited and healthy, like salads and stuff like that. Like Santo, we are very, very limited and we only eat rotli shak and healthy food like that. Nothing else, right? No. The bhagwan mate kariye chhe. But joking aside, just like how food is important, prayer is important for the soul. It is food for the soul. Now here we go. To keep the body healthy, air, water, and food. Pure air, pure water, pure food. If you live in a different country, a third world country, then maybe the air is good, but the water might have a lot of parasites and bacteria. The food might not be that up to standard. That will cause sickness in the body. Impaired diet, water, and air. But in the same way, to keep the mind healthy, prayer. Sickness of the mind is sin, distortion, and bad thoughts. Now, just like how the body can become sick, the mind can also become sick due to sins, or we can say pap, due to bad thoughts, due to kusang. Talking to those other people, maybe in school, making the wrong friends in school will give you bad thoughts. I'm not saying you do, just an example, my friend. But talking to the people that you're not supposed to might make you want to do other things besides doing puja, besides doing Gar Sabha. Yes? So talking to the right people is very important. In the same way, to make the mind pure, prayer is very important. Without prayer, the mind cannot become pure. In the same way, without pure air, water, and food, the body cannot stay healthy. How to do prayer? Here we go. The way. During prayer, it is important to have passionate emotion. Without passionate emotion, one's prayer is useless. Now, sometimes when we do prayer, we kind of make it into a habit. Just, sloka pragayan puja ma prada sastrani. Gailidum. And that's it. It's a daily routine. But during the day, whatever pap or whatever wrong you have done, you have not confessed to Bhagwan. And that's the whole point. But if you do it with emotion that Bhagwan accept my prayer, then Bhagwan will accept it. What to ask in your prayer, what Bhagwan gives is more than needed. Now here we go. We don't need to ask for anything. As I already mentioned before, any kind of electronic devices or anything at all, we don't need. We are given because we are young, so we use. That's okay, no problem. But as adults, as older bhaktos, we don't need millions of dollars. We don't need high, fast cars. We don't need big houses. To have is okay. Nothing wrong with that. But praying for it is not okay. Whatever Bhagwan gives, we take, no problem. And we use, no problem. If Bhagwan gives us a Tesla, okay, no problem. Tesla is okay. But praying for a Tesla with falcon doors and automatic driving, that's not okay. Bhagwan, just a little over my budget, but autopilot no, that's not good. But Bhagwan wants something where you pray for him, that I only want you, nothing else. I only want to do seva of your bhakto and santo. Bhagwan likes that prayer. But praying for stuff like this kind of stuff is not going to help. Moving on. Emotion towards presence in your prayer. One's prayer shouldn't be, one's prayer should be to the Murti, should not be to the Murti but to Bhagwan. Sometimes we come here and we look at Pura Ghanshyamprakashdasji Maharaj and he is a statue and we think of him as a statue. So what do we say? That he is a statue, but in reality, he's not statue, he's Bhagwan himself. Live. Example. In 2014, we did the installation of Pura Ghanshyamprakashdasji Maharaj here. And Pujya Guruji, by standard, called a Brahman by the name of Ishwar Bhai Shukla. Okay? Now Guruji had all the vidhi performed by a proper Brahman. And what happened was that now at that time of Pratishta, Pujya Guruji did Aarti. But before that, before Guruji came down, the night before, Ghanshyamprakashdasji Maharaj had given Guruji darshan and told him that someone in the assembly hall here, there is 1,000 people here, someone in this hall will get darshan of me from the Murti. Okay? You following? Now what happened was, Ishwar Bhai Shukla did the pujan vidhi, Guruji did the Aarti, and at that time, he was sitting right here. At that time, Ishwar Bhai got the darshan of Pura Ghanshyamprakashdasji Maharaj right there in front of him. He's done many vidhis in his life, but never has had darshan of Bhagwan. But had the darshan of Pura Maharaj at that time, divine roof, full of light. Now, if it was just a statue, that would never happen. But Bhagwan's not a statue. Bhagwan is Bhagwan. Bhagwan is there. He is always there. He will always be there. That's why pray to Bhagwan. Do not pray to the statue. Or do not think this is a statue. One should always have the emotion that Bhagwan is present in their puja. In Puja Guruji's puja, if you see, whoever has had darshan of Puja Guruji's puja, when Puja Guruji is praying, if you look closely, in his eyes, there is going to be water. Almost he will cry. He will not cry, but he is ready to cry. I've seen this many times. When he's praying to Dada Guruji in his puja, when he's praying to Thakurji Maharaj in his puja, he is praying with a lot of emotion. Due to that, tears are about to fall out, but they don't. He covers it up. Then he changed the subject so that no one will know. But that's the emotion that he has for Bhagwan. That's why Puja Guruji's puja is a prime example for us. Always be scared of bad company. Only a Sadguru can destroy the instinct of doing sins. No matter if you go to the Ganga, no matter if you go to the Tirth, yes, your sins will be washed away. That is said in the scriptures. But the habit of doing the sins will not be washed away. Suppose that there's a person who has a habit of smoking tobacco. Now, he smoked tobacco his whole life. Bhagwan has said in the Shiksha Patri not to smoke tobacco. Suppose a person has a sin of eating meat. Bhagwan says do not eat meat. Now he listens to this talk that if you go to the Ganga, all your paps or sins will be destroyed. So he goes to the Ganga, takes a bath, and his sins are destroyed for that time. But again, when he comes out of that river, and when he goes back to his natural environment, wherever he lives, he's going to continue eating meat and smoking tobacco because it's a habit. But suppose he doesn't visit the Ganga, but visits a Sadpurush, and he says what the Sadpurush, or he does what the Sadpurush says, he develops affection for the Sadpurush, then slowly his habit of eating meat and smoking tobacco will be destroyed. So the Satpurush destroys the root. The top side is going to grow back. I'm sure all of you have cut your lawn and there's weeds that come out in the lawn. Now those weeds, even if you mow the lawn, those weeds are going to become short. So when you're looking visually, you don't see the weeds, but they grow right back. But only when you buy that spray, that weed spray, and you spray it, that the root is destroyed and then it'll never grow back. In the same way, When one takes the refuge of Ekantik Satpurush, then only is one's sins destroyed. And the habit of one's sins are destroyed. In the church, it's the prayer to the lesson the sins. Church, temple, may it be anything. But when you come here, automatically you have a feeling of peace. You don't feel like doing any sins because the environment is like that. Bhagwan himself lives here, santos live here. That's why. But when you go outside, automatically something bad. The instinct of doing sins merely comes from bad company. May it be school, may it be job, may it be anything. I'm not only talking about younger kids, but even older bhaktos or anyone that goes to work or anywhere. There's always going to be sinful people, bad people, but not to get into contact with them is our responsibility as a Hari Bhagat. This Prarthna takes us to our fullest potential. Prayer is Bhagwan's favorite. Bhagwan doesn't want to eat our tasty foods. Bhagwan doesn't want to wear our expensive clothes that we give him. Bhagwan doesn't want expensive perfumes and colognes. Yet, that is our bhav, so we put it on, but Bhagwan wants our prayer. That's what he wants. You know how we say that this Bhagat wants this, or I want this in life. What does Bhagwan want? Bhagwan wants prayer. That's all he wants. To cross the sea of emotions, you need a boat in the form of a prayer. In life, there's always highs and lows, and there will always be highs and lows. One day, it's a good day. Next day, it's a bad day. Then there's 4 or 5 bad days, and then there's a good day. Then there's a month of good, and then a year of bad. In the world, it's just like this. The world is made of Maya, so it's like this. But no matter what, good or bad, if we continue to pray to God on a consistent manner, then automatically Bhagwan will make all and everything good. Even in bad, he will have good. For example, our Muktanand Swami and Brahmanand Swami got caught by a Baba, and the Baba tied both of them up to a pole, and he took out a very sharp sword, and he said, I'm going to cut your nose and ears off so it looks bad on the Swaminarayan Sampradaya and on Bhagwan Swaminarayan. In that time, there were many Bhagwan Swaminarayan haters. A lot of people hated Bhagwan Swaminarayan because of his rapid success and growth in society. So what happened was, he threatened both of the santos by cutting their nose and ears, and that looks very bad in society. When someone's nose is cut off and you look at that person looks very ugly. I'm not gonna lie. And ears as well. You should imagine. You should think about it. Yeah, think about yours. I don't know. But well, everyone think about theirs, okay? I mean, if you think about your nose and ears cut off and look into the mirror, how will you look? Pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. But in that way, Muktanand Swami and Brahmanand Swami became a little scared. He's like, oh, what will happen? What will happen now? It will look bad on Bhagwan Swaminarayan if our nose and ears are cut. What will happen? Muktanand Swami said, Bhagwan is the all-doer. Nothing will happen. Whatever Bhagwan's wish is our wish. That's it. And then a Hari Bhagat comes by and he sees from the window that these two santos are tied up. And he sees this man with a sword ready almost to cut the nose and ears off. And he goes in, Bhagwan sends this Hari Bhagat. He goes in, he scares off the Baba, unties the santos, and they're free. But Muktanand Swami also prayed in bad situations. People pray in bad situations, yes. But also one should pray in good situations. Muktanand Swami did not see that this is a bad situation. He saw it was a good situation by thinking that Bhagwan is the all-doer. Bhagwan will do everything. In the same way, in our life, may it be social life, may it be financial life, may it be academic life, may it be spiritual life, any kind of lifestyle mode you're living in, there's always going to be some high and low, but prayer will get you out of everything and keep your mind stable. That's why prayer is a very, very important weapon for a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. And we have the refuge of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Thakurji Maharaj, our divine Guru Parampara, our Puja Guruji. And even if we look into our Puja Guruji's life, he only has Bhagwan and his Sadguru or his Dada Guruji. He's only kept them main. He's only prayed to them. And due to that, Thakurji Maharaj has gotten Puja Guruji out of even the most worst of the worst circumstances, as we all know. And right now, Puja Guruji is very happy and living a very happy life and is pleased upon all the Loyadham Parivar Bhaktos for their prayers for him. So it is very important for us devotees to think and live like this in life and do prayer of Maharaj, our Guru Parampara, and to Puja Guruji. Bolo Shri Thakurji Maharaj Ni Jai.